Welcome back welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about basically the progress so far. As you saw me in the last video, design the packaging, basically a cloud model which has all the hard points for the chassis, for the suspension, for the battery, for the person sitting inside the car, etc. I thought it was a good idea to basically make a summary of what we've done the past year in the development of this car. And so what I want to do is go over the starting points and the initial design and some of the upgrades and updates and some of the changes that we made during the course of this design. So I hope you will look into this video, and I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and a like, and a comment if you want, and I hope to see you following this build. Thank you very much. So first off, where did we start with? Well, going back to a little bit more in the beginning, I showed a short video regarding GM's skateboard design. And the idea of that design was basically to have a platform with a drivetrain in it, with wheel suspension, everything on it, and basically on top you can put a body shell with whatever you want. So if you want to have a Ferrari on top, you take a body shell for Ferrari. If you want a Volkswagen van, T1 bully, then you put a T1 bully on top. So a very versatile packaging tool basically to create your own car. Now, as I mentioned back then, that radical setup is just way too expensive and way too complicated, but I really like that idea. So what I wanted to do was create a package that is very narrow, so I can do hot rod bodies, retro racing cars, like cigar races. So you have the really narrow body style with fenders, etc. And on the other hand, you know, I want to be able to do those classic race car or classic car shapes like Jaguar E-Type or Corvette, or things like that. So that basically determined the packaging, the basic packaging. Now in the regulation that I'm working, we're talking about a small car. And if you look at the cars that I mentioned, they have big wheels. So to get the proportions right, the car will become very low. So the next point was getting a proper seating position in the car so that we can still build a very low car, but have the proportions that we need to let's say have a Jaguar E-Type look like a Jaguar E-Type and not like something that was supposed to look like a Jaguar E-Type but was stretched out of proportions. That's something that happens a lot. You have a car designer come in, or a body kit or whatever, and it's just the proportions aren't correct. So it's very important to have the packaging there, and to have the wheel size there, and to have the designs there. So wheelbase and wheel size is very important. The width of the car is very important. But due to the restrictions that we have with the regulation, so we are not in a normal car regulation. If you are having questions about this, the M1 class, we are not an M1 class. We are an L7E, which is basically a new class. It was invented, I think, 7-8 years ago, something like that. We jumped onto that back then with my company together with an investor, and developed a 4-person car that could go 90 kilometers an hour, and was within a certain size range. Now I am in the same size range, and same power range, same speed range, etc. Now that in some countries the top speed are lowered back to 100, this vehicle will be suited very well. Yeah, so basically that's what we are going for packaging wise, and now that we fixed that, we can really start to work on detail engineering and also work more accurately on the designs of the vehicles. What am I targeting with this vehicle? Now, my goal is to have a very simple, super lightweight car that is electric, high torque, lots of fun to drive, limited range, but as the name says, it's a forence vehicle. So what does that mean? That means that this car has a smallish battery pack, it's extremely lightweight, and it can drive between 30 and 80 kilometers, depending on the battery pack, depending on the weather, depending on several other things like the body, for example. Yeah, that's basically the goal. So 80 kilometers would be perfect, 30 kilometer would be minimum, absolute minimum. And the car, to get it to 350, 400 kilogram range, you know, we're not talking about air conditioning, leather seats, adaptive cruise control, that sort of nonsense. It will be no power steering, but the car is very light. Tires are very narrow, so we don't need power steering. It will have a basic heater in it, so that in different types of weather you have comfort. And a lot of the models that I currently design are convertibles, but you know, it's the perfect car to commute to work, maybe do some small groceries, you know, stuff in the neighborhood. You know, it's not a car to go on holiday with. It was never the intention. And the reason why the battery is small, the reason why the car is light also, is because I want to be able to charge it with my solar panels and not with a, you know, with some other thing, you know. So that's why I'm aiming for 10 kilowatts, 10 kilowatt hours battery pack. It's a lot for solar panels, but it's on the edge, you know. Yeah. So, you know, I want to keep it small. I want to keep it affordable. Of course, if you make 100 of these, the price will be different than if you make one or two. But I mean, the target is to have it lightweight, have it cheap, have it, you know, basic, but fun to drive, with a beautiful, beautiful designed, sculpted body on top. And that's my target, you know. Have a beautiful, beautiful car that's just fun to drive. And yeah, so no options, lightweight, and that's key for this project. And to keep the price low, I have selected several parts of mass production cars and several parts of older cars that are really simplistic, no bells and whistles on it. And yeah, another thing is that I redesigned the chassis in 2 videos ago, and the reason for that was that I can go for high strength steel, to be able to go with sheet metal and go lighter and go more precise. And yeah, with that I hope to really get that weight into the low range. And when we're talking about weight, what are we talking about here? Okay, so we are talking about a 60 to 70 kilogram chassis that houses basically all the mounting points for the battery pack, for the suspension, for a basic body style. And the chassis can be extended with the body style that you want to put on top of it. Then we have front suspension and rear suspension. I think front suspension will be something around 10 kilograms per corner. We have push rod suspension with very small, like a Formula 1 style dampers on top of the monocoque, basically. Rear suspension, I think I go back to push rod system as well, packaging wise, body shell wise. Having a big spring or big coilover basically outside of the body on some of the bodies is just not gonna work for me. So I'm going for a push rod system with cantilever, and then have the suspension basically, or the dampers on top of the electric motor basically. Drivetrain wise, 10 kilowatt hour battery pack, I estimate it to be around 100 kilograms, something like that. Then electric motor with disc brakes and sprockets, around 45 kilograms, something like that, including motor controller. And wheels and tires, steel rims, very simple, 15-inch by 4.5 wide, and a tire, I think we are talking between, I think we're talking in a range of 12 kilograms per wheel. And if there are aftermarket wheels that are that narrow, we can maybe go a little bit lower. Yeah, so I think a basic model with battery included, we are talking in the range of 200 kilograms. And then when you start adding a body, yeah, and windows and seat belts and things like that, you'll go up to 350, 370 kilograms, I imagine. Yeah, so in the end, the target for me is including a body to be around 200. Sorry, with a body 350 kilograms, without a body 250 kilograms, something like that. Again, no bells, no whistles, just a very basic thing to drive from your house to work. And on a sunny day, you choose a body style, so you know you have a convertible, and in the winter you have an enclosed body style, whatever you want. So yeah, I think that's basically the summary of what the target is and where we are at right now. In the next videos, what we will do is start developing parts very specifically. We've locked down the chassis, so we can now really make the chassis very detailed. We will start designing the body. The red car, it's called the hollow point. That body we will start into detail, where we will have sections, so a nose cone and a cabin basically, and a trunk, you know, so that we have the different areas. They will be converted from from surface models into actual bodies, so we can make molds out of it. You know, these things, that will be the next step for this project. Again, a little bit of a ramble in this video, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you can see what I'm trying to do here. If you are interested, if you want to follow me, if you want to contact me, maybe you want to sponsor something, some parts perhaps, or help any other way, please let me know. If you like it, just give it a thumbs up, comment, whatever. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Thank you very much. Bye bye.